Sit straight and tall. Descend the buttock bones. Feel the outer groins descend down slowly and steadily so that the low back lengthens. So as you just pause there, allowing from the back waistband to descend down, right? Just a little bit, but press into your outer feet. And do that, but if you do too much, you know, it's like taking a dose of medicine. You can overdose. You just want a tiny bit, because if you overdose on that pressing of your outer feet, the inner groins will start to harden. So you have to be very, very subtle. But if you find that gentle press in your outer feet, you can also find that the outer hip firms while still keeping the inner groin soft. And then when that happens, roll the shoulders back and broaden across the front chest. So it's like this constant balancing act of a little bit of stability in the hips, but not a grip in that inner groin region. Breathe into the side body. And then bring the palms together and close the eyes. And take a few moments there to feel the palms spread against the palm. Feel that skin, that flesh touch from hand to hand. And when that happens, again, it's sort of a dosing effect, right? When you spread your hands, instead of pushing the hands into each other, feel how there's almost a rebounding action back, like a rebounding action back the forearms, helping the upper arms turn out. One of my teachers used to talk about that in the way of talking about the cells, the skin cells of the right hand touching the skin cells of the left hand. So if you consider the shape of a cell is round. You don't want to press the hands together in such a way to make those cells flat. You want them to stay round. So feel how that sort of pressure between the hands creates this sort of rebounding through the arms that in turn lifts and broadens the chest. Join me for the sound of Om, and we'll continue with the invocation all together. Om. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaijakena yopa kerutam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi Abhavu Purushakaram Shankachakra-siddharinam Sahasara Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Release the head down towards the heart center and surrender there. Release the hands with the palms up. Keep the eyes closed as you bring the head back up to center. And then gently open the eyes. Okay, we're going to start in Adho Mukha Vajrasana in child's pose this evening. So let the knees be apart a good deal, big toes touching. All right. And then keeping the back of the waist, again, descending, begin to bring the sides of the body forward. Now again, as you spread the palms against the mat, think about those skin cells. And a cell should be plump. You know, you wouldn't want a flat cell. You know, you wouldn't want this kind of withered cell. So I want you to feel that plumpness, that buoyancy of each cell in your palm, both palms. And so start to observe, is there one area of your hand that you're squishing those cells? And are there any areas in your hands where those cells are not touching the floor? Try and make that an even spread, an even touch, but keep those cells round, buoyant. Firm the outer upper arms in, and at the same time, press the inner upper arms out. And create that width that comes then across the collarbones. Now, keep the hands there. Lift up and turn your toes under and take Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. And in that downward dog, lengthen from the back waistband. So this region, like kind of where the pants begin in the back waist, that should feel lengthened. Spread across the mounds of the foot, so you lift the knees and reach the heel bones down. Remain mindful of those cells in your hand. Yes, they're all going to take a little more pressure, but you still have to have that sense of them being plump and standing upright evenly. Keep deepening the frontal groin, the inner groin, the outer groin. But also keep reaching the heel bones down. And can you begin, if your heels start to touch the floor, consider you also have those cells in the sole of your foot that you would also like to make an even pressure with into the mat. Certain ones tend to get squished more readily. Then walk the hands back to your feet. You can keep the fingertips down initially, get that lift through your legs. And then if you're comfortable there, go ahead and hold the elbows and descend from the side body. Breathing in and out through the nose, allow the abdomen to relax and release and deflate. Keep the spreading across the mounds of the foot so the kneecaps remain lifted. Now, I'm going to give you a little hint of where we're going. We are going to be taking, you can switch the crossing of your arms. we are going to be taking Padmasana from downward dog. So that's the one where you step 1 foot forward and your legs are wide apart but pointing forward and the fingertips come to the ground. So if you feel as though it's difficult to get your fingertips on the ground when you do that pose, go ahead and stand up now and get a couple blocks so you can have them for props. And then once you have those, you can go back into the Uttanasana, put your hands on your elbows, and then start to walk your hands forward. And again, take downward dog. Now, step the feet closer together so they're more around the midline. And then with your exhale, step the right foot forward towards your hand and pivot the left foot a little bit. It'll turn out a little bit so the left heel can come down. Now, from there, bring the fingertips directly under your shoulders. Lengthen your inner left heel bone down. Anchor from that inner left heel so the inner upper left knee rolls back. And at the same time, press into the mound of your right big toe. So doing those two things should cause the outer hip to firm in towards the midline, towards the tailbone even. Now, when that happens, come onto the fingertips and lengthen the side waist and the side ribs forward so that the broadness across the collarbones causes that upper back region to move towards the ground, right? You see, if I just push my hands down and press the heels down, it'll cause my back to round quite a bit. It's not incorrect in the lower back or in the legs, but what I'm asking you to do then is to lengthen the side body so you get that broadness, and that in turn begins to turn the upper arms out and move the upper back in. Relax the abdomen. Just look on the floor a little bit in front of your right big toe. Then go ahead and put the hands back down and step back to downward dog, normal downward dog. Bring the feet close to the midline, and then second side, you're going to step the left foot forward. When you step forward, it doesn't go all the way to the hands. It's not that wide of a distance. Pivot your right heel back and down, right? Hands under your shoulders. But now, inner right heel bone presses down. That should take the flesh of the buttock down and roll the inner upper right knee back. Then press the mound of your left big toe down, and it will really give you a sense of compacting the outer hips and taking the tailbone in. Then lengthen the side waist, the side ribs, in order to bring that broadness in the collarbones. Relax the abdomen and breathe. Then put the hands back down. You can bend your knees if you need to, and then put your hands down and step your feet back again, downward dog. Now, walk the hands back to the feet. You can bring the hands to your waist. Inhale, and come on up with the head. Last. Now, once you're up, just come watch for a second, because this will be familiar to some of you, but maybe not to all of you. Just watch for a quick. So I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. And it's going to start with what you just did. You'll see. So this is my right foot. I'm not mirroring you. So we're going to do what you just did. So press the back foot right in front of the big foot, right in front of the front foot. I lengthen, and then I'm going to bend forward. So you see, I don't want to be in between my legs. I really want my spine in front of this right leg. I'm going to bend my elbows, and it's as if I'm trying to lengthen my spine downward. That'll be the exhale. Then we'll straighten the arms, and I'm going to do a quarter turn. This is my right foot, a quarter turn to my left. I widen my feet for Prasarita Padmasana, and then again, I press the heels so the buttock flesh will roll down a little bit. I lengthen the side body forward in preparation to bend forward. So then the hands will walk back. I'll exhale and bend forward. I'm taking a little more distance. We won't be long. Then you'll straighten your arms. We're going to go to the second side. Notice when I do, I have to shorten my distance. It's a different pose. Again, this hip will want to kind of hang out there until I press the inner heel. And Padmasana again. Now here's the thing I want you to see. I'm turning in a circle to my left, and I'm going to continue that. From here, I'm going to put my fingertips down and take an exhale and just jump. And again, I bend forward, I straighten. I turn to the left, I get a little more distance, I bend forward. I come up, I go to the second side, I shorten my distance, and then we'll take downward dog. Then left foot steps forward, not right. We'll do the whole thing in reverse. I'm not bending forward just to go fast. We'll do the whole thing in reverse, the whole thing in reverse, and you'll end up in downward dog. It's like I should be dizzy now. Does that make sense? Let's go. So start at the back of your mat, be in feet hips distance. We're just going to do it with Uttanasana. So lift the chest, and with your exhale, come forward. Hold your elbows for a moment. Descend through the side body. Have the bricks out there in front of you if you feel as though they might be helpful. But then go on and walk your hands forward and take downward dog. Adho Mukha. And I did kind of go in fast motion on the second round, but that first round was pretty much true to form. So you're going to bring your feet closer together. Step your right foot forward for the first Padmasana. Inner left heel down, mound to the right big toe down. The low back should descend, tailbone in. Lengthen the side body. Breathe through the nose. And now when you go to bend forward, you're going to kind of have to hug that outer right hip in. The abdomen goes a little bit towards the right leg, and you bend your elbows out to the side. Exhale, descend the sides of the body down that right leg. Then straighten the arms, lift the chest. Quarter turn to your left. Widen your feet a little. Now, heel bones down. Side body extends forward. Relax the abdomen. Walk the hands back between your feet. Weight coming forward as you bend the elbows, and take the crown of the head down or towards the floor. Press the hands so the shoulders lift up. Lengthen the back of the head downward more and more. Then straighten the arms, extend the side body forward, and again, quarter turn to your left. You'll shorten your stance a little as you do. Lengthen the side body, and then exhale, bend the elbows. Roll the abdomen a little towards that left leg. Full forward bend. Then straighten the arms. Now have your fingertips down right under your shoulders. You're going to take a breath, and with an exhale, we're going to swap legs. So exhale, jump, and just swap. Now your right foot's forward again. Padmasana again. Feel those outer hips firm in as you press the left heel mound to the right big toe. Then straighten the arms. Again, quarter turn to your left, widen the feet. Heels down, side body forward, and then walk your hands back. Prasarita Padmasana, shoulders up. Straighten the arms, look forward, and now quarter turn to your left again. Inner right heel down, mound to the left big toe down, so you really feel tailbone comes in, bend the elbows, extend forward. Then, both hands down, downward dog. We're doing the exact same thing, but in reverse. So feet come close together. This time, left foot forward, right where you left off. Pivot the right heel down. Now, inner right heel bone down, mound the left big toe down. Feel how it actually lifts the abdomen up and over that left leg. Inhale, and now with your exhale, bend the elbows wide and crawl the side body down that left leg. Now straighten the arms, quarter turn to the right now. Prasarita Padmasana, heels down, lengthen the side body. Walk the hands back and crown of the head to the ground. Keep the shoulders lifted. Again, straighten the arms. Quarter turn to the right. Stand on the two legs to lengthen the side body. And exhale. Fingertips wide, bend and flow the side body down the right leg. Straighten the arms, hands right under your shoulders. Right? Then bend the knees, and with an exhale, a little switch of the legs. Exhale, hop. Padmasana now on the left. Straighten the arms, quarter turn to the right. Widen your legs. Good. Walk the hands back. Exhale, bend forward. The back should round here. Heels down and mounds of the foot spreading. Then, last bit, straighten the arms. Quarter turn to the right. Last one, Padmasana. Inner left heel down, mound to the right big toe, bend forward over that right leg. And then downward dog. Downward dog. Now, from there, walk your hands back. So you're back in that soft Uttanasana again, right? So go ahead and hold your elbows just like we've been doing in that soft Uttanasana. Switch the crossing. Now, first two fingers are going to wrap around your big toes for Padmasana. Keep the knees lifted, heels down, so the tailbone's in, but now side body rolls forward, upper arms turn out. Get length in your side body and your spine. The abdomen should still be deflated. Now exhale, bend the elbows wide and flow the side body downward for Padmasana. Pull up with your fingers so the shoulders lift. On the back of the legs, get that nice full stretch. Oh my. And then walk your hands forward again for downward dog. And from downward dog, right into child's pose. Once you come into child's pose, go ahead and stack your hands under your head and just let yourself rest for a moment. Feel the breath there in the side body, in the back body. Then, hands right under your shoulders, push the floor away, come up with the head last. All right. Now from there, go ahead and cross your ankles. Swing the legs out in front of you into Dandasana. So if you need a seat for the buttock, you need a little height, just take it. Otherwise, if you can, be there. Now, we were doing a lot of this before I left last week, but from where you are, push your hands down and give yourself, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift my buttock just a little bit. So watch, when I push my hands down, I just a little bit lift the buttock and kind of orient my two buttock bones to point at my heels, just a little bit. So it's just a little point of the buttock towards the heels, but then I spread the mounds of the foot and it causes the back of my thighs to spread. So it's not like I'm tucking the buttock bones beneath me, but I'm also not spreading the buttock bones so much that my tailbone is out. So it's a little bit of both of those things, so that, but my tailbone stays in. In fact, when I spread the mound of the foot, the tailbone has a sense of zipping up my frontal spine. So it gives the upper body buoyancy, but it requires your feet and your legs to be awake. Now, from there, reach the arms up. And as you reach the arms up, you can hook your thumbs, pull up out of the side body, keep the mounds of the foot spreading, back of the legs spreading. Breathe. Allow the low back to be long, the side body long. Then inhale, and with your exhale, come forward and see about fingertips to the toes. And just grab onto your toes with your fingertips, but keep the mounds of the foot spreading so that you can feel that, wow, my outer hips are firm, tailbone is in, but there's like a serpentine action in the spine, crawling away from the pelvis and up towards the chest. So Utthita Hasta, or Padangusthasana in Dandasana. And then just release that and come right back to Dandasana. So now from there, let's see. I have a plan here and I'm trying to remember what my plan was and see it. Oh yeah. So for a moment, we're just going to touch, we're just going to touch Baddha Konasana. So bring the legs into Baddha Konasana. Just kind of where they'll go to. You don't have to force them to be super close. But then I'm going to do the same thing with my hands and my buttock. I'm going to lift my buttock a little and let it roll towards the back of my heels. So you see, I kind of started here. I just lift and roll the buttock. Then the shoulders roll back and you press the heels, especially the outer heels, into the outer heels so that the inner leg lengthens to the inner knee. Now, I'm going to turn and face you for the next couple of things because it'll make more sense. I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to bend my knees and put my feet where they land. Hands on my hips, buttock towards the back of the knees. It's sort of like it sweeps from behind. And it feels my low back is rounded at first. And I'm not running away from that rounded action. In fact, if you keep the rounded action for just a minute, it's similar to how we started in Swastikasana. Remember I said, put just a little pressure into the outer foot. It's just a little dose of pressure, but not so much that your inner groins harden. Well, it's the same thing here. It's a little bit of pressure of that outer foot into the outer foot so that your outer groins, outer hips, right, feel that awakeness. And then it's almost like your tailbone is almost like held from those outer hips so that then you can lift the chest and broaden across the collarbones. Right? The tailbone's still in. Now, from there, take the legs wide for Upavishta Konasana. And I'm just going to back up enough that I'm back on my mat. Be in Upavishta. Hands behind your hips, and again, roll the buttock, right buttock to right heel, left buttock to left heel. And then spread the mounds of the foot. causing, hopefully, the back groins to then also spread. Now reach up. Take those arms up. You can hook your thumbs. I always kind of like that. Crawl up out of the side waist. That's it. Keep the legs awake. So when the mounds of the foot spread that way, observe how it almost feels like you have a helper there and their hands are on your front thighs, pushing them down. Now from there, fingertips are going to go wide. You're not having to do a whole lot, but see if you can touch the tips of your toes. And if you don't quite make it, well, then just narrow a little bit. That's okay. But now when you do, feel the mounds of the foot spread so those outer hips are firm, tailbone's in, and then you crawl the side body longer. And breathe. The legs should feel quite firm. And then release and come up. You can hold your inner knees if you want, but put the legs in swastikasana now. How we started, right? And a little press into the outer foot gets those outer hips firm. Bring the hands together, interlock the fingers for Parvatasana. Push the palms forward so you get that broadness in the upper shoulder blade. And inhale, come on up. Crawl up out of the side waist. Neck soft, but collarbones broadening as the arms come upright. Oh. And then take the arms forward and down. Switch the crossing of your fingers. Same thing again. I still have stiffness from being in the car so much. Every day I've practiced a little bit more than the day before. It's always interesting coming back into a practice. Pull way up. Try and get those arms at the zenith of you. That's it, Clifford. Way up, straight up. Good, everybody. And then take those arms back down. So now, take your hands either side of your right knee. And while you're still quite upright, turn the trunk of the body towards the right. So I'll mirror you. I'll go to the right too. This is my left, but it looks right. Now, keeping the outer hips down, and you'll feel them when you get that little press in your outer foot. Go ahead and slowly walk your hands forward so that the right knee is essentially right at the center of your chest. Relax the abdomen as you go. Feel how you have to press your right hand down just a little bit more to get the trunk of the body to turn towards the floor. Otherwise, that left back rib will want to pop up towards the ceiling. Press your right hand down to get that left back rib to flow downward towards the floor. And breathe. Relax the abdomen. Breathe into the side body and the back body. Ensure that you're keeping your inner groin soft. And then lock the hands back in and out. Turn to the second side. So most of you, the left side. Hands either side of that left knee. And then gently walk forward, keeping that left knee kind of at the center of your chest, right? It's sort of the center of the bend. Press the left hand down to get those thick right ribs to turn towards the floor. Breathe into the back body. Then walk your hands in, come on up. Straighten the legs for Dandasana for just a moment, then the opposite crossing of your legs. So just cross the legs the other way. Hopefully you remember which way you had them crossed. It'll be the weird way now. Turn towards the right. Oh, wait, before we turn towards the side, let's take Padmasana again. Interlock the fingers, come up. Because, why? Because of this stage, this lengthening stage, side body, front body, back body, neck soft. And then change sides. And then arms forward and down, turn to the right now, and let's come out over that side just as before. Press the right hand, flow those left back ribs down. And don't feel like there's a goal to get to here. You know, it's not like you need to put your head on the floor. It's just whatever, you know, you need in your body. Walk the hands in, come up, change sides. Press that left hand, flow the right ribs down. Then walk your hands in and come on up. Upavishta Konasana legs. So flow the buttock to the heels and broaden the mounds of the foot. So the legs feel anchored downward. Now reach the arms up. You can hook your thumbs and lift. Now, keeping both thighs down, turn the trunk of the body towards the right. Push the mound of the left big toe away a little, it'll help. Turn, turn, turn. Right, those thick back left ribs should flow forward. Then take the hands down, keep the chest lifted and not any amount. Walk the hands forward over the right leg. Now, be careful though when you do that it's not a collapsing in the low back abdomen. That's for you bindi people. Keep that left leg grounded. Imagine I was pressing that leg down, and you'll find that the abdomen sort of hugs in to let you come forward. Keep that leg down, and it will tell you what to do. Okay? Doesn't matter how far you've been forward. Don't make that a thing. But again, you need to press the right hand down, flow those thick back left ribs down. And come back in and up. Hook your thumbs, reach up again. And exhale, turn to the left. Ugh. So then hands either side, keep that turn, keep that right thigh down, come forward over the left leg, left hand presses to turn those thick back right ribs forward and down. So it's a really weird ego trip, right? Because if I keep this leg down, my head's not coming down because I'm working on my spine and in my lower back. If I wanted to make it an ego trip, I could let go of that and lie myself flat, right? And I don't mean that as in a judgmental thing. It's just normal, right? It's if you can get there, you want to get there. But I'm telling you, there's something else to work on. Again, walk the hands in, come all the way up. Hold your inner knees, Baddha Konasana. Buttock to the heels. Lengthen the side body, broaden the chest. Okay, so then cross your ankles, come forward, hands and knees, and sit in Virasana. So have what you need. If you need to sit on something, just have it. Use your hands on your calves. And sit down between your heels. Oh. I'm going to grab a blanket. The top of my feet hurt. So sit so that you're not in pain. Not being in pain is nice. Okay. So much better. So then just give yourself a moment for the front thighs to descend, the back waist to descend. And you know, when that happens, sometimes it feels like the whole spine's descending. It's okay. It's just the beginning. Rest your hands. Lift through the side ribs, broaden the chest. Parvatasana again. Change sides. So this kind of twisting in these, it's not even twisting, it's these side angles. It's good for the kidneys, it's good for the adrenal glands. Go ahead and release those arms down. Let's take Gomukhasana arms. So right arm goes behind first, left arm up, join. But you know, in yoga, you always see the depiction of the lotus flower coming out of the mud. This pose to me really embodies that. You can really kind of feel that, because kind of from the waist down, you should really feel like the spine is sort of buried in some ways. And your center chest and side ribs, it's like that lotus rising up out of that heaviness, that earthiness, right? So now go ahead and release this side. Second side, take that left arm way behind. Breathe, easy and gentle to open the side body. All right, now release those arms. Now, Vajrasana. So you're just going to come to hands and knees, bring your knees together, your feet together, and sit back on your heels. So when you do that, make sure the outer heels stay in, buttock bones down on top of the heel bones. So there's still this earthen quality here from the waist down, with the shoulders roll back. Now, we're going to take the full Gomukhasana pose. So I'm going to turn around so that you can see what goes on with the legs and feet, because it's kind of confusing. So from here in Vajrasana, you're going to lift up to hands and knees and take your left leg behind you and put that left knee right behind the outer right knee. So now my left foot, that's this one, points straight back, and my right foot gets as close as it can. But as I sit back, I'm going to sit on my left heel. So I want that right at the center. It's kind of like my tailbone's going down to that left heel. My right foot stays as close as it can, but my right knee lifts up. It has to. But then you can see this a little bit better from the back. So I'm just going to stay this way for a moment. You can see how my hips, this one wants to lift up. I work to get that right hip to release down, down, down. So that again, I have this earthen-like quality in from my waist down. Now, some of you are going to be there and be like, yeah, no problem. And others of you are going to be there and go, it's a problem. So what you do to get that balance is you get your second blanket. You see how I still have it folded up from when I did the chant. Sorry, I'm turning my back again. And it's the same legs to begin with, but when you go to sit back, you take that blanket and put it between your buttock and that heel. It's not about how deep you do the pose. No, if you don't get the actions correctly, it's just a struggle and you'll never feel the pranic work. So try this and you might find that, hey, that's a lot better. Or you might go, it's a step in the right direction, but I need another blanket still. That's fine. I want you to feel how this helps from the back waistband down to descend and you're stable. Then when that happens, very naturally, you'll feel how the low abdomen draws inward to lift upward. Then just rest your hands on your legs for a moment from there. Your right leg is in front. You're sitting on your left heel. Now, the right leg's on top. That means your right arm is going to go on the bottom. So it's going to go behind you into those Gomukhasana arms again. I'm keeping my back turned so we stay on the right sides. The bottom leg is your left. That arm goes up and you clasp. And then you keep that idea of the back waist down, right? Because it's very tempting at this point to start to do something like this. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm really shoving my lumbar spine forward and it helps me lift my chest. But it loses the pranic connectivity. I want to keep the buttock flesh down. Why? Because it firms the outer hips and keeps your tailbone in. So it's like the pose then has a grounded quality. Otherwise, you're just hanging in the low back and the joints. Then release the arms. Come forward, hands and knees, and we're just going to take the other side. So your right leg's going to stretch back. Left foot moves to the right. Right knee comes behind your outer left knee. Then you keep your left foot as close as you can. If you have a blanket, just set it there on top of your right heel. And you sit on the right heel. Your left knee will lift. That's fine. The left foot will move out quite a bit for some people. Don't worry, it's fine. You might want to use a second blanket, you decide. Hips descend. Now, keeping the hips descended, rest your hands and feel the balance. There is a balance, and it comes from buttock down, abdomen in and up. Your left leg's on top, so the left arm's going to go on bottom. Right arm reaches up and comes from behind, and you're in full Gomukhasana. Then release those arms, come forward, hands and knees. And you can move the blankets out of the way. And have a seat in Dandasana. So let's see. So I'm going to sit in Dandasana facing this direction. Be in Dandasana like you did before, buttock to the back of the heels and then broaden the mounds of the foot. Good. Janu Shirshasana. Bend your left leg into Janu Shirshasana first. So left heel comes to the left inner groin. Hands behind the outer hips. Broaden the mound of the right foot. Then inhale, reach up. You can hook your thumbs to help pull you up out of the side waist. Exhale, up and over, and see about the fingertips touching the toe tips. Still, the back waist span wants to descend down. I know the left hip will want to lift some. You try and keep it down as much as you can. Lift through the side body. Now, you can use a strap here at your feet. You can have your hands out to the side. You guys know. Hold on to either side of that right foot. And with an exhale now, bend the elbows to the side and you're moving towards that left leg. Try and take the fingertips towards the right heel. Crawl the side body down that right leg. Breathe. From time to time, you can press your right hand down to flow those thick back left ribs right to the floor. We did that in an earlier pose. Then inhale, straighten the arms and lift the chest. And exhale, release, come back upright. Change sides. So now the right leg's going to come back. Now, if it bothers your knees or your hips, please sit on something so that it doesn't give you a problem or a pain. Then hands either side of the hips, lift the chest. Reach the arms up. So it's kind of interesting, right? Still, even here, my right buttock bone flows towards my right heel. My left buttock bone flows towards my left heel. But it's how I work with my feet. Spreading them out to that left foot helps the back left thigh spread so I get height. Exhale, up and over that left leg. Fingertips to toe tips, lift the chest. The right hip would love to lift. I want you to work to keep it down as much as you can. Then bring the hands onto the sides of the foot. Walk the fingertips towards the heel of the foot. You just go where you can go, right? Breathe. Then abdomen turns to the left. Exhale, bend the elbows and crawl the side body down that left leg. Again, you can press your left hand down to roll those thick back right ribs towards the floor, and that'll help a little. Straighten the arms, lift the chest. And exhale, release back to center. Straighten that right leg. Okay. Gosh, we could repeat that. I'm going to keep moving those so that we can get to more things. Because I'd like to get through this sequence. So now you're going to take your right leg and put your right leg in Virasana. So now what you have to do is ask yourself, are both buttock bones? Some of you maybe, most of us, it won't be. So you take your blanket and support the two buttock bones so that they're evenly down. That's a little better for me, right? So then, Trianga Mukha Akapata Paschimottanasana. Lift up, reach up, and exhale up and over. Hold the fingertips, keep the hips down. Same thing, crawl the hands down and bend the elbows. Straighten the arms, lift the chest. And inhale, come back up. Switch sides. getting really hot. It was really cold when I came in here, but that heater works so well. Support the buttock bones if necessary. Reach up. Feel the back waistband descend down. Exhale up and over. Fingertips to toe tips, lift the chest. Then crawl the fingers down the foot. Exhale, bend the elbows wide and come forward. Straighten the arms, lift the chest. Release. Straighten both legs. So now we're just going to take Paschimottanasana. I would recommend taking your blanket, folding it in half the narrow way for your head. Okay, have as much height here as you need. 2 blankets, 4 blankets, a bolster, whatever. Lift up, exhale up and over. All those same things should still apply. Broaden the mounds of the foot so the back thigh broadens. Crawl the hands down, bend the elbows. Rest the head. Keep the elbows nice and wide so the trapezius is nice and wide there at the base of the neck as well. Smooth, easy, generous breath. Strong legs though. Keep those legs awake. And straighten the arms, lift the chest. Come on up. All right. So listen, get out a bolster. Bring a bolster back to your mat. We're going to take Virabhajasana 1. So you'll sit on your bolster facing forward, like so. Then we're going to sweep the legs towards the left. Right buttock off to the side, left buttock. Let me see if you're sweeping your legs to the left. Left buttock is off, right buttock is on. Just a simple Virabhajasana 1. So bring that right hand behind, left hand palm down to the right thigh, lift the chest and turn. Move those thick back left ribs towards your left elbow. And exhale, release. Change sides. Left buttock is on, right buttock is off. Left hand behind, right hand to your left thigh, and lift the chest and turn. Move those thick back right ribs. And release to center. Okay, let's do that one more time. One more time is always good for Virabhajasana. Just go right on in. Keep the chest lifted, look up and over that back shoulder, but move those back ribs. And change sides. and over that back shoulder. Look back there. And then back to center. Okay, get a chair, bring it back to your spot. Then, let's see. I'm going to turn my chair so my back faces you. I'm going to sit in this chair so that, let me think, you sit in the chair so your right side faces the backrest. I think it'll look like that. That's right. So I'm mirroring you. You're going to bring that back hip to touch the base of that backrest area. Take the bolster. You see what I've done there? I've put it between my ankles and my knees. It keeps the knees from swiveling around. Buttock bones down. That's right. So if you turn your backrest to face me, you'll see me as we do this. That's all. You can do it however you want. Just make sure you're turning to your right. So you'll lift your arms up, and with an exhale, turn to your right, grab onto the backrest, lift the chest. Push with the right hand, pull with the left hand, and turn. Relax the abdomen. And release with the exhale. Change sides. Scooch the hip back. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, turn to the left. Hold the back corners of the chair. Lift and push, pull. Turn towards the left. Relax the abdomen as you do. Work with those back ribs. And then release. Now, for the second round, get rid of your bolster for this one. Turn again so that your right side faces the backrest, but now can you sit kitty corner on the chair? So you see my sacrum is right here against this bar. The corner of the chair is between my two knees. So I'm actually turned more away from you, right? But it's going to cause me to have to hook this hand. So that'll be your right hand. Hook right onto that backrest. Left hand comes around. Oh, and it's an even greater twist. Relax the abdomen and turn. And then release to center, change sides. So kind of sitting kitty corner. Then it'll be your left hand, right? I want to hook that edge. Right hand comes around to hold the front of the other edge, and I lift and I turn. Oh, and release. Cool. Chair, shoulder stand. Okay. It's nice to have a wall. I'm going to use this wall. We're going to go from chair, shoulder stand into Viparita Karani, relaxing our legs on the chair, and then we'll go straight into Shavasana. Okay. So get yourself set up in a way that is good for you. Ooh. I'll try not to fall over. It's like I'm high on yoga. Okay, so those of you that don't know, put the mat on your chair. It'll make it a little easier to deal with the props. You have to start to know how many props you need for this pose. I'm pretty clear that I need one blanket like that folded in half, and then I'll use one of these thinner blankets. If I didn't have this, I'd probably just open up one of the regular cotton ones. Like that. I like using a bolster And I'm also a little lazy to get out my blankets right now. So I'm just going to use that bolster for my shoulders. You can use a bolster or 2 folded up blankets, your choice. Careful getting into the pose. If you don't know it, you can watch what I'm doing and then you'll do. There will soon be some tutorials online to do all this stuff. You see I walk my buttock way back. I hook one heel and one leg goes up and I arc my chest to lie back. You can put a hand down there. Bring yourself down so your shoulders are on the bolster. Hands go through the front legs and they hold the back legs and you turn your upper arm bones out, then both legs can go up the wall. Heels touch the wall, not the soles of the feet, so that you push through the heels, which in turn, just like those forward bends, those seated poses, the buttock bones should have a sense of flowing to the heels. Then spread the mounds of the foot and press them away. And observe how that transforms not just the legs, but the spine. So the chest should have a sense of lift. Breathe into the side body so the abdomen is subdued, deep. And once you feel that you're stable there, you can even release the arms out from underneath and let them rest at your sides, if you like. Shoulders on the bolster, head on the ground, soften the throat. Feel how the legs remain stable so the tailbone is in and the side body continues to lengthen. Collarbones broaden. Keep the jaw soft, throat hollow, deep. Now from there, you can take your feet and place them in Padmasana, resting on the backrest of the chair. Then, to ensure that you don't slide off of your bolster, take your hands and hold on. You kind of hold on where that joint of the chair is, where the bottom leg meets the top leg. There's kind of a little triangle there. You bend your elbows a little, turn the arms out. Now, from there, cross the legs. So the legs cross around the center shin bones. And when you do that, you'll feel with your pinky toe edges that you can kind of crawl the outer feet down the backrest. So the inner knees lengthen forward and away from you. So it's swastikasana. right, in Sulamba Sarvangasana. But do hold the chair so it doesn't push you off, because it can if you don't. Then switch to crossing up the legs. You might find, you can crawl one leg down a little more easily, so just work with that a little bit. Allow the frontal groins, the inner groins to be long, relaxed. And now then we're going to come off the chair in stages. So put your feet on the backrest for just a moment, and you might even be able to put your feet kind of on the seat of the chair. Make the shoulders light. You see, I put my hands above my head a little bit and on the floor. You can't see me, I know. But when you slide off the chair, do your best to get your shoulders to land on the wooden floor and your hips to land on your bolster or your blanket. Then with that bolster kind of in the lumbar spine, low back area, slide enough away from your chair that your legs can easily rest there on the seat of the chair. And the arms can turn out to the sides. You can place that bolster a little higher up your back that helps the chest to lift. And that's the idea, is that bolster should give a buoyancy to the lower portion of your front chest. And then rest there. Abdomen completely hollow and soft. Frontal groins, inner groins, completely hollow and soft. Thigh bones should almost feel like they're floating in space. Now we're going to make a little transition, but it's just a little transition. Use your forearms and your hands, push the bolster or blankets towards your chair until your hips come all the way to the ground. The legs may change a little bit. Don't worry about it too much right now. Just let your back come to the ground. Relax there with the whole back against the floor. Breathe. And then we're going to transition again into a supported Shavasana. So you're just going to thread your feet and legs under the chair seat so that that bolster ends up under your thighs. And you might have to move away from the wall a little bit. I know I'm running into the wall a little bit. So move away a little bit. Keep that bolster under your thigh. And then rest there for that supported Shavasana. Feel how the front groins can completely surrender and let go. The arms can be at the sides or they can rest on the front body, whatever's comfortable for you. Relax the shoulders, the arms, but then with your next few exhales, completely and totally surrender and let go. Allow the skin and the muscles to relax as if falling away from the bones, particularly at the very last part of the exhalation. observe how Shavasana kind of spirals inward over time, allowing you to touch those deeper spaces within that at first don't even seem to be a thought at all, a place at all. But those deeper spaces reveal themselves with time, with patience, and with observation. So now that we're going to begin to come up, so bend the left leg, push off with your left foot and turn onto the right. Look down to come up, press your left hand into the floor to push the floor away. Begin to come back up and have a seat. That's all for this evening.